All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Nadia Shihab. I'm the Global Commercial Team Lead at Connected Places Catapult and leading on the delivery of Urban Links Africa, or ULA, as we call it internally. So for those of you who are not familiar with Connected Places Catapult, we are the Center of Excellence of Urban Innovation and Mobility. We are a not-for-profit organization, partly funded by the UK government. We are based in London, but we work very much internationally. We have had more than 20 projects on 4 continents and many more in the UK. So our mission is to grow businesses by de-risking innovation and support them in creating new solutions to tackle urban challenges. This is to ensure the success of cities and the well-being of their citizens. So this is really exciting news today. We are launching our open call. And on the next slide, you will see we have a very packed agenda today. So it is really a pleasure for me to be hosting this webinar, and this is going to be recorded. So if you cannot attend the whole session, you will be able to visualize it and see it later on. I would like to say a very some keywords here to say that how special that day is for the ULA team and for you. We are launching an open call, inviting all innovators and stakeholders in the urban space to propose their solutions to tackle 7 challenges faced by our 6 cities across Kenya and South Africa. So we have a lot of information to give today. So first, in the next hour and a half, you will learn about how you can get involved and receive funding to positively impact your cities. So I'll give you a short presentation about the project and its background, while my colleagues Katinka and Charlotte will run you through the open call, its process, and all the details. So then we'll have some time to answer your questions. So please use the Q&A button on Zoom, not the chat. But before we get into the details, I would like to ask you a couple of questions. I'm curious to see who we have in the digital room today, and I'm sure it's the same for you. So the first question is more about where you are. So where is your organization based? You should receive a question. Yes, so let's take a minute to answer that. I would like to know where you're from. Right, shall we see the results? Okay, so it looks like we have a big participation from the UK. This is not surprising. And we also have a good balance between the different African cities. I can see there's a big community from Nairobi. This is great to see. Kisumu as well. Kenya well represented, and a few stakeholders from Cape Town as well. Excellent, excellent. Now let's move on to the second question. In this question, I would like to know what type of organization you're representing. So are you an SME? Are you an NGO? Are you a large business? Are you a city authority? Are you a tech hub? Let's take a minute. All right, can we see the answers? Wow, okay, so we have a big representation of SMEs and startups. Excellent, you are exactly at the right place. We also have a few tech hubs. Excellent, you're all welcome. Local authorities, academics, NGOs, and even a few large businesses. That's amazing. Well, the good thing is that there is absolutely, there is something that you can take away for each of you in this open call and this webinar. So you're all welcome. So now that we know each other a little bit better, let's crack on. Next slide, please. So what is the project about? Let me give you a little bit of information, background information, and key information here. So The Urban Links Africa program is funded by UKRI, the UK Research and Innovation Agency of the UK. So through the Global Challenges and Research Fund. This is brought to you by Innovate UK and Connected Places Catapult. We have kick-started the project last October, and we will be running it until March 2021. So we are about halfway through. Our objective is to create a sustainable collaboration between the UK, South Africa, and Kenya. And we're doing so by bringing together cities and their tech ecosystems to solve urban challenges. So we've been closely working with our partner cities over the past few months. And those cities are Cape Town, Johannesburg, and eThekwini in South Africa, and the counties of Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu in Kenya. So we've been working closely with them, like I said, to identify and flesh out their key challenges. And we will address these challenges by calling innovative companies and organizations across the 3 countries to propose joint technological solutions. This is what we call equitable partnerships, and this is a very important concept here. We will be able to fund up to 15 of these equitable partnerships and provide them with support to end up with really exciting innovations at the end of the project that will be ready to deploy. In parallel of this, we will also foster linkages and peer learning between a variety of stakeholders, ranging from cities, tech hubs, and even the investment communities via a unique UK African collaboration platform. This is to ensure that the information is flowing and that collaborations are being discussed. Next slide, please. Now, between the project and the project start and today, as you can imagine, a lot of things have changed and have happened. This is impossible not to mention the COVID-19 pandemic. We live in a completely different world because of this pandemic. Travel ban, social distancing, lockdowns, this has affected the way we were meant to deliver this project. And ULA is, however, taking a very proactive approach here. And just like we've all had to adapt to the new situation, the project has also pivoted to be able to deliver right now when our cities need us and when the ecosystem need to be included in the economic recovery to boost resilience. So there are 3 main changes that we have brought to the project. So here they are. The first one is we have shifted the open call from deployment to solution development. This is really important. It means that we are now open to solutions that are more early stage. So you can propose your proof of concepts or early stage ideas to tackle the challenges, but also more mature innovations that need to be adapted and adjusted to be fit for an African city context. So that means that we've broadened the scope of the open call. And because we're no longer deploying, we have more funding to support more tech partnerships. So that means that initially we were supposed to support 6 of these equitable partnerships, but we are now in the position to support up to 15 of them. So that's really exciting. We can have more projects, and this is, I think, very good news. The second big change that we have brought to the project is that we are no longer deploying, but we will be paving the way for implementation projects by bringing in VCs, global donors, customers to the table to support our 15 tech partnerships. So we will try to help them to ensure there is an implementation phase beyond the project life, so beyond March 2021. And last but not least, the third change that we have brought is to mitigate the barrier to travel. So obviously, because we're no longer able to travel and meet face-to-face, we have decided to invest in a unique UK African collaboration platform that should allow all these stakeholders that we are engaging with to connect, exchange information, learn from each other, and hopefully have bilateral collaborations in spin-off projects. So those are the main 3 changes we have brought. Next slide, please. So this is the project timeline. So it clearly shows you the different steps and phases of the project and how it all links up. So as you can see, the first 2 phases of the project are now done. We have managed to achieve this. So in the first few months of the project, we have been engaging with the cities to confirm their participation. This is the stakeholder engagement part. Then we've been really busy between January and May this year to identify the challenges, agree on 7 of them that I will present later on, and flesh them out for you to finally receive this open call. So this all feeds into this phase. And so we're here today to launch an open our competition, and you will have until the 21st of August to apply. So between now and the 21st of August, you will have plenty of opportunities to answer, to ask your questions, to attend matchmaking events, to find your partners. So you don't need to have a partner already to form your tech partnerships. And you will get to learn so much more about the challenges. And between the deadline, so the 21st of August until September, we will be busy processing your applications. So we will convene a judging panel that will be able to select and award 15 equitable partnerships. And the idea is you will be notified by the end of the summer, so we can start with the solution development phase in September. And this phase will run until February 2021. So we'll have a lot of time to support these 15 awarded partnerships, provide them with customized support, technical support, and a lot more insight. And last but not least, the very last month of the project will be all about sustainability. So we will be running a business and government forum to scope future projects and make sure that we have implementation of these 15 selected partnerships and discuss with business angels, VCs, and other interested potential funders. So this is how it all links up. In the next slide, I am just emphasizing what you already know. So that's the expected outcomes of the project and impact. So we have already identified and fleshed out 7 city challenges. I'm going to mention them in the next slide. But these 7 challenges are feeding into this open call. And at the end of this process of the open call, we will be able to select established 15 equitable partnerships. What we want to get out of these partnerships, it's either prototypes for the more early stage concepts or ready to deploy solutions for the more mature ones. So 2 types of projects. And we will have achieved meaningful international peer learning and exchanges through the collaboration platform I mentioned, and boost synergies between cities, tech hubs, and SMEs. Next slide, please. So the 7 city challenges, this is what you're all here to listen. So what are they? I'm just presenting the themes. So my colleague Katinka is going to go into more details. But I just wanted to show you the headline. So in Kenya, the 3 counties have chosen to have the same challenges, and they all welcome solutions in the following 4 topics. So that's stormwater drainage and urban flooding, solid waste management, traffic management and active mobility, and wastewater management. In South Africa, it's a little bit different. Each city is focusing on one single challenge. So for example, for Cape Town, The selected topic is resilience in informal settlements. In Johannesburg, they are looking for solutions in urban mobility. And in Equitable or Durban, they want to hear more about waste management and pollution solutions. So those are our 7 key challenges for this project. I just want to emphasize that we now have an open call website up and running, and you can consult the full description of these challenges on the open call section. Please read carefully. We highlight opportunity areas and pain points for you to address. So all these challenge definition phase was the result of months of research and consultation with the cities and their local ecosystem. And in the next slide, I would like to say a very big thank you to all the stakeholders that have helped us in this process. So a very, very big thank you to the cities of Johannesburg, Cape Town, eThekwini in South Africa, and the counties of Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu. I would like to also extend a thank you to 2 local partners that we have. They are UN Habitat and the Council of Governors in Kenya. Thank you for your continued support. In the next slide, I am going to, this is my last slide, I promise. I am going to say a few more words about the open call phase. This is really crucial for us. So why is it so important? This is your occasion to get involved in this exciting project. You can do so all during summer, so between June and August. Like I said at the very beginning of this webinar, there is something for each of you here. So if you're an SME or a startup, propose your tech to tackle the challenges. If you're an NGO or part of the civil society, your on-the-ground knowledge will be extremely valuable to the tech partners to complement the partnerships. And this is going to put you in a very good position to drive impact in your citizens. If you're a large business, do you own data sets in these identifying challenges? You can also help. If you're a tech hub, your members and ecosystem are welcome to apply. Don't let them miss out on this opportunity and get in touch to receive a content pack. Now, a lot of people ask me, what type of project are you expecting from this open call? So first of all, the open call is tech agnostic. That means that we do not advocate for one technology over another. We would like to be surprised by the market. So the open call only details the challenges and opportunity areas and gaps that you can fill with your innovations and ideas. Then second, the innovations, the partnerships, they should be impact driven. What I mean by that is it's important that these solutions are locally grounded. And this is why having a local partner is so important. You need to be complementing each other and ensure that the solution is very much designed and fit for the 6 cities. Lastly, the innovations should be commercially viable. No need for shiny tech if the innovation is too expensive to remain. We will prioritize realistic solutions here. And the last thing I want to say is, what's in it for you? So in addition to the funding you will receive to develop your concepts, I think this is a unique opportunity to find a complementary local partner. And this partner can help you generate commercial opportunities, whether it's in the UK or in Africa. This has to be a win-win situation for everyone. And if you don't have a partner already, please do not worry. We are here to support you in the matchmaking and to find you the most relevant partners. Another key advantage of being involved in this open call is you will also be exposed to potential customers, VCs, global donors, and access cities that are eager to receive your innovations. Finally, this is a great opportunity to raise your visibility at international level. This is a project across 3 countries, and there will be a lot of opportunities for you to speak out and introduce your organization. Now, you also need to be driven by impact. So this is the overall purpose of this project. Now that's it. I hope I had to convey our message and excitement about this open call phase. I'm very much looking forward to receiving your applications. And I would like to hand over now the floor to my colleague Katinka and Charlotte to present you the details of the open call and the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. Hello, everyone. I'm Katinka Schaaf. I'm a service designer at the Connected Places Catapult, and I was working on the design and delivery of the open call, and also will be later on working on the support of the partnerships during the solution phase.
Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte Hutton. I work in our global program here, and I'm the coordinator for this open call.
Okay, let's start. Oops, sorry. I just want to say before I start with the agenda and what we will cover in the next hour, could everyone please use the Q&A button if you have any questions. I think some of you raised the hand, so it would be great if you just add the question if you have a question in the Q&A. Thank you so much. So what we cover in the next hour, I will quickly have a recap of Nadia's presentation, just for everyone who joined a bit later, and just to clarify as well. And then we will talk about the open call and what we offer. Our journey so far, so how we got to the 7 Urban Links Africa challenges. How do you apply to the open call? Who can apply, so who is eligible for the open call? What support is available? And then in the end, we close with 4 things to do after this webinar, and of course the Q&A. The next slide. So yeah, so everyone who has maybe missed some of Nadia's introduction. So the aim for Urban Links Africa is we are looking to de-risk innovation by providing funding and support for the innovative product and services and the development. And we're looking for innovative projects that have the potential to be commercially viable in the South African and Kenyan market. And a very important element is the Equitable Partnership between the UK SME and the South African or Kenyan organization. And Charlotte will later on explain a bit more about the Equitable Partnership principles and what organization means as well. Next slide. So the open call and what we offer. As I mentioned, we're looking for innovative products and services that have the potential to become commercially viable in a South African and Kenyan market. And so successful partnerships will have the opportunity to receive up to £40,000 funding, have access to the market, to local market, and also scaling opportunities. And we will be offering a bespoke support program for the partnerships that will be delivered by experts from the Connected Places Catapult, and also in collaboration with local ambassadors on the ground. And a very important part is also building international partnerships. This is not just partnerships you will find during the open call, but partnerships with cities and local experts in Kenya and in South Africa. Next slide, please. So our journey so far. As Nadia mentioned already, last year we have been engaging with local stakeholders through workshops and interviews, and we validated these insights and learnings through market analysis, research into commercial opportunities. And together with the stakeholders, we identified 7 city challenges, which we know will provide a great market opportunity for your innovative products and services. And so next slide. Nadia already mentioned these challenges. I just want to recap again to be very clear that we have 3 challenges for South Africa. And for the key challenges for Cape Town, focused on how to build resilience in informal settlement. And for Johannesburg, we are looking for solutions around sustainable mobility. And Durban, we are seeking solutions to the issues around solid waste management and pollution. And it's very important to mention that in South Africa, we have 3 cities, and each of the city has one specific challenge, which is different in Kenya. Next slide, please. In Kenya, we're working with three cities: it's Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu. And as Nadia mentioned, we have different to South Africa, 4 challenges: stormwater drainage and urban flooding. And we are looking for innovative solutions in wastewater management, solid waste management, and traffic management and active mobility. So it's really important that if you are in Kenya, based in Kenya, for example, in Mombasa, and you're interested in wastewater management, you can do that. And if you're in Nairobi and interested in waste management, you can also apply for this city challenge. Yeah, it's really important to have the difference that South Africa is very specific. Each city has a specific challenge, and in Kenya, you can choose the challenges depending on which city you are based. The next slide, please. And you can also learn more about the city challenges on our website. On the Urban Links Africa website, you can download for each of the challenge and city a report that summarizes the learnings and inspirations around these city challenges and how you can apply your product and service to these cities. It's to note that we have 3 reports for South Africa, linking to a specific city, and 1 summarized report for Kenya, with city challenges and case studies from the cities. Next slide, please. So how do you apply for the open call? Very important to note here is you will need to apply with a partner in the open call. So please don't apply as an individual. It's really important to have a partner. There are also, if you go on the website, there are 2 routes outlined. There's the route 1, if you have already a partner, you can directly apply to the open call via our application platform F6S. There's the route 2, if you are still looking for a partner, you have to sign up for the B2Match platform, which I'm explaining in a second a little bit more into detail. In general, the open call is 8 weeks long. It starts today and will be closing on the 21st of August. There's a deadline for the applications. During this 8 weeks period, we will have various events, Q&A, support sessions, a hackathon, different webinars that support the participants, the applicants to find the right partnership. And this is Charlotte will explain a little bit more later on what exact events and when they're happening. So, and after the open call phase, there will be 6 weeks that will be there to refine the finances and the contracts. And after this, there will be 4 months of the solution phase. Next slide, please. So the matchmaking at B2Match. This is the route 2. Again, if you're on a website, you can see the process and you have 2 options and the buttons directly link you to the platform. So it's very clear. For the B2Match, so everyone who has no partner yet, no Equitable Partnership, has to register with B2Match. It's very simple to register, and then you create a profile. Again, the profile is it's a very small number of questions. It's a very quick process. And after you're registered and have a profile, you can start exploring other profiles, start matchmaking, launch conversations, set up video calls to find the right partner that is fitting to your city challenge you're interested in, your location, etc. And we also have events to sign up on the B2Match, which link to our webinars and also to our hackathon that happens in around 1 month's time. Okay, next slide, please. So the open call application at F6S, it's a platform we're using for all our applications. So even when you have already a partnership, you will go to the Urban Links Africa F6S platform, which is linked again on our website. And you check your eligibility and you can start your application. It's really important that you read our open call brief, which can be downloaded on our website before you start applying. As it's really important to look and read through all the projects before you start the application. And for everyone who is still looking for a partner, and you will use B2Match first, and then you will start your application as a partnership, not as an individual. So please don't start your F6S application now and find a partnership later. It's really important to do that in collaboration together. And next slide, please. So before I hand over to Charlotte, I will have a quick poll question for everyone. So which of the challenges is the most interesting for you? And as you know, we have 7 challenges. And please pick one that is most exciting for you. Thank you so much. And I will hand over to Charlotte now. Oh, wait, I still wait for the poll to come back. Sorry. Okay, we have resilience and informal settlement in Cape Town with 34%, which is really high, and sustainable mobility in Johannesburg with 20%.
Great, thanks, Katinka. Next slide, please. So it's great to see that so many of you are interested in the challenges, and this next bit is really important to listen to if you're interested in applying, because I'll be going through who can apply for this open call, what we're looking for in the applications, and finally the support that's available for you and where you can find this. Next slide, please. So as mentioned by Katinka and by Nadia, the first most important thing is that your project must address one of the challenges in one of the cities. So in South Africa, these have already been aligned, but it's different in Kenya because you can choose which city you address one of the challenges in. Next slide, please. So it's really important that we build sustainable and long-term solution to these challenges. The way that we want to do this is by ensuring that each project's team is formed from an equitable partnership. I'll chat in a minute about what we mean by equitable partnerships, but essentially these have to be formed of one UK registered SME. And as this is a UK funded project, this UK partner will be the one who receives the funding and then contracts the partner organisation, which should be either a South African organisation or a Kenyan organisation. And this is important because to create these sustainable solutions, the partner organisation should be local to the challenge. So for example, if you're wanting to address building resilience in Cape Town, your partner organisation should be based in South Africa and ideally should be based in Cape Town itself. Next slide, please. So really, what do we mean by equitable partnerships? We believe that to be equitable, you follow these 6 principles that you can see here on the slide. But really for this, it's really important that the partnerships have a clear and shared understanding of the goals and objectives of the project and share the responsibility in delivering these. And it's important that the partnerships take the context into consideration by understanding the challenges and creating an adaptive approach in case this context changes. And it is vital that the partnerships think about how this is going to be sustainable after this project. So there's plenty of information around these principles that can be found in the project brief, which is downloadable on our website. Next slide, please. So once you have your equitable partnership, we are welcoming 2 types of solutions during this open call. We call these tier 1 and tier 2. So tier 1, we're welcoming early stage companies whose solutions are concepts or ideas that don't necessarily exist in the market yet, and you guys will be eligible to apply for up to £25,000. The second tier is more advanced. They will have an experience in commercializing product and services and will have a solution that's been validated but needs to be adapted to the African market. You guys will be eligible for up to £40,000. Don't worry if you're not sure which tier you'll sit in yet. On our website, there's some tools that can lead you through this process and help you identify which funding you'll be eligible for. So on the next slide, you'll see that once you've identified which tier you sit in, so tier 1 up to 25,000 or tier 2 up to 40,000, each partnership will be asked to provide 30% match funding to this project. So this can be in-kind support or resourcing or through further funding. So for example, if you sit in tier 1 and you've been allocated the full £25,000 in funding, then you'll be expected to match fund with £7,500 worth of resources. So really what we mean by resources can be several different things, can include material costs, training costs, licensing and new technology, patenting, but it's really important that you clearly identify where this 30% is going to come from in your applications. Because you'll see in my next slide, it will be crucial for the eligibility check. So once we received all of your applications via the F6S platform, as Katinka mentioned earlier, our team will start the evaluation process. So this is a 3-step process. The first one is the eligibility check. So really we'll be checking for, have you provided a solution to one of the city challenges? Is your project team formed of an equitable partnership that includes a UK registered SME and at least one local African partner? Which tier does your solution sit in? And have you provided information about the match funding? So if you provided all of those, you'll then move on to step 2, which is being evaluated by an expert judging panel. And then applicants will be shortlisted and invited for interviews. But what is crucial for steps 2 and 3, and really what we're looking for in these applications, fall into 4 categories. The first one, we're looking for innovative solutions. So in your application, make sure you tell us why you're innovative and how this really addresses the challenge. We're also looking for the impact. So is your solution expected to have significant economical, environmental, and social impacts? And the feasibility, is your project plan feasible with your project team? And crucially, business sustainability. Have you looked ahead at how this is going to continue after this project? Next slide, please. So I'm aware that we have talked through quite a lot in this hour, that we've given you a lot of information to digest. So we have designed a support program over the 2 months open call. So as you can see here in this slide, it comprises of several different events or webinars. You'll see that we have 4 online application support and Q&A sessions, the first one starting next week already. These are really designed for you guys to talk to us, ask us your questions, check out the matchmaking platform and F6S and get back to us if there's any queries around this. The second type of event we'll be running will be the challenge and partnership building events. So we're running 2 of these on the 6th and the 8th, starting with South African, and these will really drill down more into the challenges. And crucially, this will also be a great opportunity for you guys to attend the one that you're interested in and hopefully find some partners that you can start working with to submit an application. And then later in July, we're also going to be running a hackathon, which will help you develop your solution to be ready to submit an application before the 21st of August. Next slide, please. So again, we've designed a brilliant looking website, which you can go to and you can find everything that we've talked about today. So you can go there and you can download our challenge reports. You can download the whole project brief. You can sign up for our support events. There's a FAQ page there which will continue to update. So you'll most likely find a question, the answer to your questions there as well. We'll have blogs and news to keep you updated on the project, and also the all important how to contact us if you can't find the answer to your questions. Next slide, please. So we're nearly at Q&A time, but before you go, there are 4 things that I would like you all to do today if you do nothing else today. The first one is follow Connected Places Catapult on Twitter. This is where you'll get the latest news from the project and updates. The second is go to our website, download the project brief, download the challenges, look over them, get some more information. So then when you do the third thing, join an upcoming support event, you're ready with questions to ask us so we can help you produce the best application possible. And step 4, if you don't have a partner, sign up to our matchmaking platform, B2Match, so you can get this process started. Next slide, please. So thank you for everyone for tuning in, and we're really looking forward to reading your applications. I think now I'll hand over to Nadia for a Q&A session.
Yes, hi again. Thank you, Charlotte and Katinka, for this very clear presentation of the open call and process. So this is now the Q&A session. So you can use the Q&A button in Zoom to ask us your questions. I'm sure you must have a lot. So the first one is coming from Subhash. He is asking, is there a document available that encompasses all that you've covered so far? So I am going to ask my colleague Katinka to take that.
Hi, Subhash. I already answered your question, but for everyone else who has not looked in the Q&A yet, there's a document, it's called Open Call Brief. And if you go on our website, urbanlinksafrica.com, you see on the left an open call section. And when you're on the open call section, you can always see a little download button that follows you around if you explore the open call, and you just click on it, you can download the open call brief, and there's everything inside you need. In case you have another question or something is not clear, we have the glossary and the FAQ question on our website as well.
Absolutely. And we will follow up after the webinar with all the links and information you need to know in terms of social media and the open call documents. So don't worry about this. You will all receive it. We have a second question that is, what would be the ideal role of a tech hub? So this one I can take it. So I see 2 different types of engagement that you can have with the Urban Links Africa program. The first one is obviously to disseminate the open call to your ecosystem. So all startups and SMEs that you're currently supporting within your programs, it would be great if you could pass around this information to them. This is an exciting opportunity for them to internationalize and discuss collaborations with peers. So I think that would be the first key point. A second way of engagement is, besides the open call, it's that we are looking to engage with tech hubs based in 6 cities. So Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu in Kenya, and Cape Town, eThekwini, and Johannesburg in South Africa. So we have built a program of activities. So if you're interested, please get in touch with us. We are going to select 1 tech hub per city to be involved in more in-depth activities with us through the online collaboration platform I mentioned. There will be opportunities for peer learning, exchange with your peers, including with tech hubs in the UK. There will be an upskilling program as well, with toolkits for all of us to learn from each other and do urban innovation. Yeah. Do we have another question? Do you support or fund even startup SME projects. So then I can start with a response, and perhaps Katinka or Charlotte can complement. So we support joint tech partnerships. That means that you have to apply in collaboration with, so if you're UK based, you need to apply with Kenyan or South African organization, or if you are based in Africa, you have to have a UK partner. So this is what we mean by joint equitable partnership. And this is this open call is not for individual or individual companies. This is always a partnership. Do my colleagues want to complement with something else, or have we covered it?
Sure. So I think all I would add to that, Nadia, is that, as I mentioned before, we have these two different tiers. So the tier one is really if you're a new startup, as long as you're registered in your appropriate country, then you would fit into this tier one, which means you're eligible for up to the £25,000 in funding. So yes, we do welcome earlier stage.
Another question from Yudish. So what I understand is organizations should only be from South Africa or Kenya to collaborate with UK to apply. Can organization outside collaborate with an organization in Kenya or South Africa and UK to apply? So I can answer this question. This is important that as eligibility criteria, we only cover partnerships with UK, South African, and Kenyan organizations. So if you are based outside of these three countries, unfortunately, you are not eligible. So you need to be registered in one of these three countries. Another question. So we are a small architecture practice based in London with a particular focus on working on social responsibility projects in sub-Saharan Africa. We are very excited about the open call, great, but not sure if there is a place for us in this. Is this call specifically directed at tech organizations? We are very versatile and certainly have thoughts on the challenges. This is an eligibility question, so I can ask my colleagues to step in and answer that question.
Should I answer it? I'm not, yes, I can answer that. If I think it's definitely possible for you to take part in the B2 match, and if you find the right partnership that could work with you on your projects you're working on, I think that would be not a problem. If you want to, I mean, if there's anything else you want to add, Nadia and Charlotte.
Thanks, Katinka.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, Nadia, you cut out a bit there for me, so I didn't hear the full question.
The question was about an architectural firm that would like to be involved and ask if they can be eligible.
Sure. And yeah, I agree with Katinka, and I think it's definitely sign up to B2 Match because I'm sure there's some innovative, great solution that you can come up with a local partner.
Great. I have another question here from Cobus. So will the partners of Urban Links Africa from these particular cities give support in terms of contextual background to the challenges? I think this question can be for you, Katinka.
Yes, I'm just looking for the question to see it. But I think the question was if they, when they get contextual support during the open call or after. Could you say it again?
Will the partners of ULA from these particular cities give support in terms of contextual background and the challenges?
I think so. We have the challenge reports, and we worked with them together with the local stakeholders to develop them. And I'm not sure if this is the best answer. I think, Nadia, if you want to add to this.
Yeah, so this open call is being brought to you thanks to all the work we've done. We've done a lot of research about the cities, the 6 cities, and especially the challenges. So if you have a look at our website and the documents you will receive, you will see that the challenges are very, very detailed. We also highlight opportunity areas and gaps where we think innovators can make a difference. So this is already like ready for you, information for you to assess. But then during the solution development phase, you will receive very customized support. So if you are selected out of the open call, we will have support from the cities themselves. Yes, we will also have support from on-the-ground local experts in the challenges. So we are currently recruiting for what we call challenge ambassadors. So local experts in solid waste management, wastewater management, transport and mobility, and these experts will be to support you and open doors to you, connect you with the right people. All this to ensure that your innovation is rooted locally and short take up. So yes, you will receive more contextual information and background for the challenges.
Yeah, Nadia, just to mention, sorry, I forgot to say that there will be also I think in around a month's time, there will be a full city report available on our website, which is quite comprehensive market analysis and report on the individual cities and the market of South Africa and Kenya.
Thanks. Let's take another question. So I'm going to read the question. So this is from Simon. Are you able to facilitate governmental contacts if through the B2B matchmaking, the relevant people are not on the list or know about the challenge? So I'm going to try to answer that question. Like I said, at the very end of the project, we want to ensure that the selected 15 partnerships have follow-up projects that will be more focusing on the deployment of their innovations. So for this, we are going to organize what we call government and business forums for the benefit of these 15 selected partnerships. And they will be able to be exposed to VCs, potential customers, obviously have access to the cities themselves, and including international donors. What we want to do is maximize their chance of being deployed in a follow-up project. The only reason we cannot deploy is the COVID situation. It's not going to be an initial phase, but after this project. Let's take another question. So here we have a question from Sashwin. So whilst the solution is intended to be impact-driven, can it be cross-cutting to address more than one challenge in more than one city and country? How would funding allocation work should a solution solve a variety of challenges? I think I can ask my colleague to answer this one.
Yeah, I can start and then probably hand over to Charlotte. So Shvin, it's a really good question. So in the beginning, you have to decide for one city and one challenge. But if you in your application highlight that you're actually interested in more than one challenge and they link somehow to your project and your product or service solution, it's definitely a really good idea. But in the beginning, you have to decide to be very specific. Maybe Charlotte, do you want to add anything to the funding, as we are, of course, limited how high we can fund each of the projects?
Yeah, I think you covered most of it there, Katinka. I think we understand that many of these solutions will be able to be applied in different cities, which we encourage because we want this to be sustainable after the project. However, for the remits of this open call and the funding allocation, it is to address one challenge in one of our cities at the moment. But as Nadia says, you will have access to different stakeholders that mean that hopefully after the project, this solution can be transferred to different cities.
I'm going to take another question. So we have an anonymous attendee asking, in my case, I am based in Mombasa, Kenya, but I work with a company based in the UK. So can I apply under the UK company, which is based in the UK? Actually, I think I can answer a little bit and then ask Katinka or Charlotte to complement. But in your case, you can, so you're based in Mombasa, you can apply with your Mombasa company, but your project lead has to be based in the UK. So this is, you can either apply with the UK company, or you can find a partner. And like I said, it has to be a joint partnership. So we've done that, we've said that many times, but it's really important. So it cannot be the same company applying with two different offices. So it has to be equitable with at least a minimum of two different entities. So yeah, maybe Katinka or Charlotte, do you want to say more, or have we covered it?
Maybe just to clarify, I think you can just decide if you want to be the UK SME or if you want to be, I think, the Kenyan SME and or organization, and then you can, depending on which one you think you would like to be, you can then find a partnership at B2Match. I think it's definitely important that it's minimum of two entities, as Nadia said.
Yeah, and I would add to that just by saying something to consider is that because this is UK funded, if you choose to be the UK SME, then the funding will be allocated to yourself and then you will distribute this to your partner. Whereas if you choose to be the Kenyan entity, then you will be contracted by the UK partner that you choose to work with.
Great. Let's take another question. I have an anonymous attendee asking, what is the role of the local governments as with regards to SME projects and their application? I can answer this question. So the 6 cities I've mentioned are going to be the beneficiaries of these innovations. So they are involved in every step of the project. So they have already helped us tremendously with fleshing out the challenges. And they will be involved in the judging panels to select the 15, up to 15 equitable partnerships. So they will have the final word on this, and they will follow up with the Connected Places Catapult team on the solution development phase. So yes, they are involved in every step of the way, and this is really key for the sustainability of the project, as you can imagine. Let's take another question. This one is maybe for eligibility related. So I have a question from Jim. Are all partners checked and validated by the team at Catapult? And will they be supportive through the project? So this is more about due diligence and the support that the selected organizations can receive. Charlotte or Katinka, do you want to answer this one?
So I can answer the first bit about the checks, and maybe Katinka, you can add some bit around the support that's available. So the simple answer is yes. On the application form, there is fields where we ask you to supply your registration number, and you should be registered in either your UK SME, in the UK Company House, or the equivalent in South Africa or Kenya.
Yes, and I think you can also find all the information around the judging and the eligibility on the website, in the open call brief, and generally on the FAQ as well. Yeah, so we already have a support program ready for Ulla, but we will be making it bespoke based on the needs and requirements of the partnerships. And as we don't know the partnerships yet, we will, I can give you some examples that, for example, we will support them in user testing, especially remote user testing, and product and service development for the tier 1. And for the tier 2, there's maybe a more focus on business acceleration, market launch, and financing for the sustainability. So I think we will share updates in the next events, and we will also find some insights from the applicants during the open call to make it bespoke and reusable and suitable for the partnerships.
All right, let's take another couple of questions and then close the session. So I have a question here from Terry asking, are you looking for funding for projects? So we have funding to support up to 15 joint partnerships. We have 2 different types of project, like we mentioned. So more early stage projects with concepts and ideas to progress, and another tier that is more targeting more innovative, more mature partnerships. So we already have funding to support these 15 partnerships. But what I mean by we are going to make sure that these partnerships continue beyond the project is that so the project is not currently deploying any technology, because this is not possible in a COVID context. We are progressing the technology and the maturity of these innovations, but we will stop short on the deployment phase. What we want to do instead is bring into the table investors, the investor community, large businesses, but also international global donors, for example, the World Bank, to potentially further fund these 15 projects and fund their deployment phase, because currently Urban Links Africa is not funding a deployment phase. So this is why we are also going to discuss with potential funders and funding bodies for the follow-up project. So at Urban Links Africa number 2, or the spin-off projects for the partnerships. Let's take one last question, maybe.
I'm just replying to Sebastian. I'm just, if this helps, Nadia.
Yeah.
I'm just replying via the chat. So if you want to use a different question, I can continue with that, because I think there are a few more.
Yeah, sure. There's a question from Landy. Can a partnership organization that brings together various SMEs, governments, and NGOs in the city apply as a collaborative, as a collaboration, or can only individual partners apply? So this is a recurring question, I think. Shall we make it really clear? Katinka, Charlotte, do you want to take it?
Sure. So we're not looking for individuals to apply. We want to have a UK registered company that will partner with an African organization. And this organization can be many different things, including NGOs, etc. But they should be different entities that collaborate together to form a partnership to apply. If that answers the question. If Nadia and Katinka want to add anything else.
I think that was clear.
Yeah, I think links to Sebastian's questions as well. So I just replied in the chat, and it's, I think, answers both of them.
So yeah, no individual projects. We need to really make it clear. This is about collaboration between either the UK and Kenyan organizations or UK and South African organizations. This is really, really important to remember this. And I think I can see a lot of questions about cross-city projects. So just to be clear again, this is only each project, each partnership has to focus on one city only. So you will have to choose. You cannot address 2 cities or 3 cities at the same time. This is important.
This can, of course, happening in the background, but for the application, you need to be very specific. And if your project already scales whilst you're doing the solution phase, I mean, this is of course great, but yeah, it's a different area.
Okay. So yeah, please have a look at the answered questions. Maybe your question has already been answered in here. We're doing our best to answer this live. Okay, so I think we can close here. That was a lot of questions, but we will be making sure that this